Everybody, my name is Patrik Joó. I'm from Hungary page. As you can see, the title of my presentation is called European Approach to Managing Online Disinformation and Conspiracy Theories. Well, according to the Global Web Index 2023 survey, more than half of the world's population actively use social media sites. As you can see on the picture, it's approximately 4.76 billion people. For those under 20, the internet is almost the only source of information, with 95% of them learning about matters important to them only online. Television is part of the daily routine for only 3 out of 10 young people, while printed press and radio are almost invisible to them. It is evident that there is a trend where young people's media consumption shifts significantly towards on-demand services, especially social media sites. As mass media, which once had a significant impact on public discourse, gradually recedes into the background, personalized content services offered by social media are becoming increasingly popular. Anyone from the internet-savvy youth to the oldest generation who are still able to use it can freely produce and share information contributing to the community discourse. The ease of inexpensive sharing and the ability to forward information without fact-checking, along with the formation of echo chambers, provide fertile ground for disinformation amplifying and accelerating its spread. This poses a threat to the financial and health sectors, as we could see during the COVID pandemic, also on democracy, and can have several direct impacts as well. It's a really good example for that. Around 2018 in India, a mob incited by false news on WhatsApp killed 3 innocent people. According to the definition by the EU Commission, disinformation is verifiably false or misleading information that is created, published, and disseminated for economic gain or to intentionally deceive. Its aim is to create confusion, increase distrust, and foster societal division and polarization. As anything, there's nothing new under the sun. This is not a new phenomenon. Octavian, the later Augustus, the first emperor, conducted a propaganda campaign against Antony, his rival. Octavian allegedly spread false documents claiming that Antony intended to hand over Rome's power to Cleopatra and the Egyptians. This disinformation significantly contributed to undermining Antony's political and military support. Beyond this, one could mention the witch accusations of the 16th and 17th centuries, or the German stab in the back myth, which suggested that Germany's loss in the First World War was not due to military weakness or strategic error, but rather the result of communist movements and Jews poisoning the country from within. Also, it's important to mention the mass targeting online disinformation campaigns. These are widely used by both domestic and foreign actors. The 3 most important actors nowadays are Iran, China, and Russia. These plan to foster distrust and societal tension. Besides that, its tactics are to dismiss, so to deny and denigrate, also to distort, which is change the narrative, to distract, to shift the blame, or to dismay, which is threaten and scare, to spread fear. These are all done by troll farms, can pose a serious threat to the integrity of democracy and the democratic electoral processes. In addition to visual and textual distortions, a relatively new threat that has emerged is deepfake. This refers to the processes and their products with which, with the help of artificial intelligence, create realistic but manipulated moving images or sounds from video or audio material. To demonstrate the current state of the technology, I would like to present and share with you a short video, and I highly emphasize that every detail of this video is generated by AI. Well, imagine what happens to the internet when anyone can produce videos from home that the human eye cannot distinguish from reality. In a matter of minutes, videos could be generated that previously required an entire film team or film crew. It's already difficult to shift through the vast amount of fake and misleading news to find the truth. According to Europol's estimate, by 2026, 90% of the internet will consist of AI-generated content. 90%. Moreover, there is so much content that if you go on Facebook or another platform, the content you see was probably, most likely, created in the last 24 hours. The overwhelming majority of the internet will be made up of fake videos and content. A question arises, who is going to have the authority and certainty to determine what is real and what is fake? Well, most of the important voices are telling that an arms race is going to begin between experts and content creators. It's not hard to imagine how big of a hit will it be to our democratic systems. The EU had already recognized the potential dangers of disinformation and the defining role of platforms in it as early as 2017. The most popular portal is clearly Facebook, closely followed by YouTube and then WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok and Messenger. It's important to emphasize and to note that 4 of the world's 6 most popular social sites are owned by only one entity, called Meta. Over the years, Facebook has become a significant, nearly indispensable forum for social dialogue. It is used by government agencies as a platform for informational dissemination. It can be said that today, in terms of billions of users, the largest internet platforms have become the governors of online speech. Their control extends to who can say what and how it can be conveyed to the public. They have the ability to censor, delete, or hide information and can decide what people see and what they don't, even if this is done through direct control but via algorithms, significantly influencing democratic processes and public discourse with this process. Algorithms are automated command sequences that filter, sort, and classify content based on specific criteria, and in some cases can also make content unavailable through such automated systems. The algorithms of social media platforms are the mathematical codes or computations used by the platforms to understand user habits and customize the social experience. These tech giants are profit-oriented companies, obviously. Thus, their advertising model is click-based, which favors sensationalist, emotionally charged, and fear-inducing content due to its potential for high viewership. We can also say for more eyeballs. These platforms do not merely function as incentive participants, but actively navigate users to the content they dictate. In relation to content, they not only perform moderation activities, for example filtering illegal content, but also act as a sort of curators among the vast amount of user content, compiling an individual's timeline. The algorithms prioritize certain content and deprioritize others, based on what is most likely to interest the specific user, or what content is most relevant to them personally. This type of algorithmic design aims to adjust the user's timeline to specific posts that the system believes they will like, based on the profile created from data collected about the user. On the mentioned platforms, targeted communication takes precedence over mass communication, where each user has their own personalized news and feed available. This means that while in a traditional media stream everyone sees the same thing, including regulatory authorities, in the case of social media, the composition of content varies for each user, making it virtually impossible to apply centralized, universally valid content supervision. Governance over a platform also implies governance over content, as a social media site can decide at any time that a certain type of opinion or an unpopular political group may financially harm the platform, then thus can openly or without announcement ban or filter these expressions or their contents. This creates an entirely new situation for the democratic public sphere, as currently there is no guarantee that a private company exerting absolute control over a platform that hosts significant portion of public discourse won't significantly distort public debates to suit its own interest. This is particularly important because social media sites provide one of the easiest, fastest, and many would argue most effective ways to participate in societal discourse. Additionally, it can be stated that regular users of social media are much more politically active. Thus, any potential influence exerted on these platforms can have much more direct political consequences than on other media platforms. Measures taken by the EU. Well, due to the lack of time, I'll mainly focus on the most recent one, the DSA one. You can easily read it on the picture if you are interested in it, but let me go one more slide away. So, the Digital Service Act was proposed in December 2020 alongside the Digital Market Act and was adopted in 2022, establishing a new framework imposing obligations on digital platforms, such as accelerating the removal of illegal content, strengthening user complaint mechanisms, and implementing measures to prevent the spread of disinformation. The EU's action and the DSA aim to enhance the integrity of the digital environment while protecting citizens' rights and promoting transparency and accountability in the digital space, as well as creating a proper balance between protecting freedom of speech and acting against harmful content, including disinformation. Easy way to say it, they try to solve the big question of free speech and free reach, where are the borders between those two? Its most important requirements: one is the obligations for online platforms, such as Facebook. The DSA sets out strict requirements for online platforms, including the effective management of illegal content, transparent handling of user reports and complaints, and greater transparency regarding online advertising. The second one is risk management. Large platforms are required to conduct regular risk assessment of their system to identify and manage risks such as the spread of disinformation or hate speech. Well, external audits, which means online platforms must allow for independent auditing and fact-checking to verify that they are properly managing illegal content and other risks, in compliance with ethical and transparency rules. The user rights, which is the DSA strengthens the rights of users in the digital space, including the right to object to the removal of illegal content and greater transparency regarding why their content was removed or flagged. Last but not least, access to data. The aforementioned large platforms are required to share certain data with researchers and regulators to better understand and manage online risk. And the last one is promoting of education and media literacy and also high quality journalism, it means encouraging educational efforts and media literacy as well as supporting high quality journalism. They need to spread the information to as many people as possible how disinformation and fake news could work. And my conclusion is a well-functioning, free and pluralistic information ecosystem based on strict professional standards is indispensable for healthy democratic debate. The problem of fake news and disinformation is not new, but it has become increasingly relevant in our time, as it plays a prominent role in public debates, the press, and the broader social political thoughts, influencing both the decline and growth of societal political influence and the process of democracy. Today, fake news is amplified and made more realistic by technology and the so-called cheap speech enabled by the internet. Disadvantages that technology now allows for mass influence with fictional information much more effectively than ever before. Additionally, the political polarization and growing distrust in traditional media contribute to the increased danger posed by fake news and disinformation. Although the European Union has taken several steps to combat disinformation, further coordinated measures and closer cooperation with digital platforms are necessary to curb misinformation while avoiding excessive institutional intervention and censorship, thus preventing one of the foundations of democracy, an inclusive and pluralistic public discourse. Thank you very much for your attention.